Alright, now we're doing DBT eating raisins, and then mindful eating. Today is still the morning of January 25th, Friday. It's like 8:35 in the morning, and I'm still not a counselor. I'm still just a consumer of mental health products and services. These are mental health products that I have permission to read out loud. I go over the whole get yourself a private counselor because it's really super important. The where, the why, the how, the what. I do have personal concerns, obviously, but it's in January 22nd videos 1 through 3, along with whatever, the intro stuff. Alright, onward. We're going to do the exercise. We're doing mindfulness practices. Ideas for practicing mindfulness, because mindfulness takes a lot of practice. At times when we're not needing the actual results. So you want to practice at times that are non-stressful so that you can use the skills when you need them. Otherwise, you might not have access to them. Me too. No judgment. Alright. Obviously, I don't even know these exercises. They took the content 3 or 4 times. Exercise 4, I think it is, that we're on the 4th one that we could try. Eating raisins. Raisins are funny little fruits, and when we eat them, we tend to just pop them into our mouths without much thought. You might be amazed to discover how much deeper your experience of a raisin can be if you treat it mindfully. That's almost like poems. First, take a raisin and eat it the way you normally do. That is, just pop it into your mouth. Now, get another raisin. Put it down on the table in front of you and examine it. Notice the wrinkles on its skin. Look at the various shapes the wrinkles form. Take out a second raisin and place it next to the first, and notice how unalike they are. No 2 raisins are identical. Are the 2 raisins the same size? Think about the raisins in terms of the space they take up in the room, in the world, in the universe. Think about their size in relation to one another. Now pick up one of the raisins and roll it between your fingers. Feel the texture on the outside of the fruit. Feel the slightly sticky traces it leaves on your fingers as you lick them so you can turn the page. No, just kidding. As you move it back and forth. Place the raisin in your mouth. Roll it around inside your mouth, over and under your tongue. Hide it in the crevices between your jaws and your cheeks. Don't chew it for at least 30 seconds or so. When you're ready, eat the raisin and notice the way it tastes. Note the way it feels on your teeth as you chew. You know, I feel like personally just reading this is designed to make you dislike raisins. So, I'm not even reading the rest of that exercise because I think it's too stupid. That's my judgment on that exercise, by the way. Drinking tea. Now we will try a similar exercise with a cup of tea. Boil a pot of water. Get a tea bag or a tea leaf strainer filled with tea leaves and put it into a cup. Pour the boiled water over the tea bag or the strainer. Fill the cup, let it steep. As the tea steeps, watch the water change colors. When you first pour the water over the tea, the water will turn a light brown, green, or red, depending on the kind of tea you're using. Soon it will darken. Let it steep for a few minutes and remove the tea from the water. Look closely at the color of the tea. Is there anything you didn't notice about the color before? If so, you might want to jot down your observation below. Now, place your hands, or in your journal, jot down in your journal. Now, place your hands around the outside of the warm cup. Have you ever felt a cup of tea like this before? How does it feel? Is it quite hot or just warm? Note the temperature. Bring the cup to your lips. Feel the steam as it touches your face. Blow into the cup and feel the steam rise up to your lips. Smell the tea. Take a good long whiff. 90% of your sense of taste is controlled by your nose. If you aren't smelling your tea, you aren't tasting it. Now, take a sip. Does it burn your lips? Is it too hot? Or is it nice and warm? What does it taste like? Try to note your experience without judging them. Then describe your experience in your notebook. And if you don't like tea, that doesn't matter. Too bad. No, just kidding. Just try the exercise. Note how much you just like tea as you taste it and write down that experience. Oh, it is just too bad. It's folly to think that you should practice present awareness only in moments of pleasure. That's true. That would eliminate half of your life. You know that you will have to have some unpleasant experiences, so you might as well experience them fully and take them for what they are worth. Well, that's true. So if you don't like tea, tough it out and do that exercise anyway. Fine. Place the raisin in your mouth. Roll it around inside your mouth and over and under your tongue. And let that raisin get good and abused by smushing it all around your jaws and your cheeks. Don't chew it for 30 seconds or so, and when you're ready, eat the raisin and note the way it tastes. Note the way it feels on your teeth as you chew. Feel it as it slides down your throat when you swallow it. Now, eat the second raisin, but this time, eat it super slow. Chew the raisin as many times as you can until it turns into liquid mush in your mouth. Is the flavor different when it's eaten this way than it was the last time? How is it different? What does it feel like in your mouth as it falls apart? How does it feel as you swallow it? How does it compare with the last raisin? What's different when you eat the raisin mindfully rather than popping it in your mouth and slurping it down? Write down your answers to these questions in your journal. All right then. Now you can eat raisins and drink tea. And you don't have to like doing either one because you can just suck it up, buttercup. Mindful eating. The exercises above are actually tiny subsets of a much larger practice that is known as mindful eating. And there are as many ways to practice mindful eating as there are schools that practice mindfulness. And there are as many ways as to snob out on people that are not mindfully eating as there are ways to practice mindfully eating. So, I mean, some mindfulness is just like, is this your head game or is this not your head game? Just depends. Mindful eating, I find, is one of those areas, especially where, you know, anybody that's gotten the least bit of enlightenment really brings it out, just like beat down on other people and feel their supremacy, and that's not what mindfulness is about. So we can do mindful eating. We also can just like chew with our mouth open if we feel like having our food spill on us. We don't have to take it to that extreme. All right. So some ways to require you to eat slowly, some to chew each, and I mean, totally you wouldn't want to go into a nice restaurant and eat unmindfully. It's just that I've just seen it, just like, it just can get taken to the ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous about it. If you're in a nice restaurant, have nice manners, be polite, be or, you know, eating with someone else, but don't like get all freaked out about it unless it's a freaked out experience like dinner with the Queen of England. Then I don't think it's about eating. I think it's about poshing. Alright. Some ways require you to eat slowly. Some to chew each mouthful of food 50 times. Some to eat a limited number of meals. Some ask you to test for your hunger responses when you're eating, and so forth. Sometime we should just try enjoying our food quite a bit. Then you don't want to eat as often, for one thing. You don't have as many hang-ups about it. In many Western cultures, and particularly in the United States, we don't pay a great deal of attention. We don't pay a great deal of attention to the food we eat. See, this is... I'm going to take a tiny moment. Pause. Let me just pause for a minute. Pause it. I'm being irritated. Because it's true. I'm pretty sure that in Pakistan we didn't do any of this, but then they would say that they were not mindful over there either. I'm just annoyed. Just one moment. Ow, ow, ow. Not mindlessly consuming. It's early in the morning. I'm having some coffee. Because I started mindfully doing these videos in response to the news cycle this morning. So yeah, I'm just going to pause for a moment. I have gotten on board that whole beating us up here in the United States as if we're less able to be mindful than other people or more guilty of this, that, or the other thing. We're not. Everybody's equally poopy, equally wonderful. Different aspects of poopy and wonderful are developed in all the different peoples, for sure. But I don't think, from what I've seen of all the different kinds of people that eat, that we're like specifically less mindful. I think that in the United States we eat alone a lot more than in other cultures, and I think that's unfortunate, and that goes to other issues that are not natural, not normal, not legal, not kosher, not socially or community effective, and yet they're going under the disguise of all these things. So that's something that I'm pretty grateful that President Trump is and his people are bringing out into focus for us. So I'm just going to say that I'm reading this material, but I think that we're moving forward in our mindset to realize that racism, xenophobism, mindlessness, all this exists in all the cultures. So, and we do a lot of solitary eating in the United States, where we ingest too many calories as a way of bringing comfort to ourselves, because frankly, I think, yeah, then we'd get into brain studies and stuff, but stimulates parts of the brain, blah, blah, blah. I don't have enough expertise to really comment to that, but it's in direct response to being broken down as a people, as a country, as frankly an experiment in democracy by jealous bitches in the old world and other places. So, yeah. Now I'm going to go back to reading this how it's written. Actually, I'm just going to read it how I want it to be written. And I think that the writers of the book would forgive me, because maybe they're getting some more information too. In many cultures, we don't pay, in many modern cultures, I'm just going to even rewrite that. In many too busy cultures, too lonely cultures, too abused cultures, particularly in the United States apparently, we don't get to pay a great deal of attention to the food that we eat. I added in that gift. In a world where everything is supersized and the burger is king, God, I'm annoyed. And yeah, I have bought into this mindset before, but it just really doesn't do any good. And then you flip back and you just like go and eat burgers just to be like, and there's the middle path where burger and salad, and you know, right now I'm not really eating hamburger, but I still like, I don't know how to, anyway. We tend to think of food as not much more than a necessary factor of survival. What's worse, we tend to believe that this factor is as much a given as the air we breathe. We take our food for granted. And I'm just going to say that, yeah, I'm just not going to say anything. In the context of this book, the point of eating mindfully is not the activity of eating itself. It is used as a means to practice mindfulness. Becoming aware of your eating behavior rather than just rushing through it is an excellent way to bring yourself back to the present moment. Observing yourself while you eat is a great way to practice removing yourself from the conceptualized self. It doesn't matter whether you like the activity of eating. The important thing is to practice connecting to the present moment. To practice eating mindfully, you can use many of the same techniques and much the same attitude as you did while during the exercise above, only you continue the practice for the entire meal. Set aside some extra time for yourself at your next meal and try it out. And then I just want to say, like, if this is the way, because, like, what is going on in public schools during lunch? Why are we sending our kids through public school lunches as if they've already gone to prison? Because to me, public school lunches and the way that lunch is conducted in the public school setting looks like nothing except for a way to get kids institutionalized and trained to bolt their food like dogs. To bolt their food like dogs out of dog trays using dog utensils as if they're already in the prison industrial complex and not being trained or taught to be civilized individual human beings, part of a social network. So let's just go on about food and mindful eating right there. And it's the public schools that are the experimental playground of so many people, because I've been experimentally playgrounded in the public school via the educational content and the vicious, what passes for socialization, but really is just industrialization and criminalization and teaching human beings to behave as if they're animals, dogs in this case. So mindfully eat that thought. Thank you very much for fixing it. I believe that Montessori snobbed out fucking, excuse the F word, educational system has the students growing nice gardens in their yard. So quit going out and destroying other people's gardens. Quit going out and poisoning their bodies. Quit poisoning the food system, the health system, the educational system, so that a few people can be elite, snobby-ass, mindful eaters, and the rest of us can be your dogs. Thank you very much, people who gave me permission to read this material out loud on the internet and give my opinion and my experience with what's going on.